wanna do, I already done it. And I got your little boo telling me she love me. I got this one, that one, damn, it's gonna be a long night.
Hello guys, what is up? It is your boy Prince of What Ifs, and I am back here with What If Deku had Mechamaru's powers, Kokusen, or Kokusen if you want to say it correctly, more translated to as Black Flash, the move that is the favorite of our boy Yuji Itadori here. And I am going to go in depth as much as I can without ruining everything, because again I keep noticing that I really suck at scripting when I am tired, and that is when I script the most. Not a good habit. Point is, I hope you guys will enjoy this. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay up to date on all of my videos. And I hope you guys enjoyed the third part of What If Asta was Yuji's reincarnation. Put a lot of work into that. I had to go and edit it a lot, but that's partly my fault, so I'm not gonna say anything else. And the next part is gonna come out very soon, because I got really passionate about making the next one, because I thought about the prospect of how I could change everything and do a little bit of a different scenario. For example, I'm going to change the water temple arc a bit so you guys can enjoy it a little bit more. So I hope you guys look forward to that. The What If Asta, which is Itachi's reincarnation, the next part will probably be the last, so boohoo, that does suck, but we've had a good run with it, so yeah. And if it doesn't end, well, I would be asking myself, why the fuck didn't it? Because that shit is complete. I've done as much crazy stuff as I can. Alright, I'm gonna stop talking. Let's get right into the video. And once again, I'm apologizing for those who are waiting for me to post something on the second channel. I'm really trying to. I want to get back into the spirit of posting there normally, so I'm gonna post there. And the next part will probably be second to last of the series, but I will be posting there. Yeah, and Dark King should be posting something as well, so look out for that. I'll put the link down below for the second channel and our Discord, which I barely visit, but I do try. Now we're gonna begin. Deku a few hours later opens his eyes, feeling tired, as he then sees someone's face pop up above him. Midoriya, All Might would say. All Might? Why do you look like that? Deku then tries to sit up, but is told by All Might to sit down because his nerves are very intensely firing off and he needs to rest a while. I don't know what they fed you, but they gave you too much. You did win though, right? Deku says. The heroes, you won? All Might with a sorrowful smile then nods, saying he did, as we then have a flashback to All Might fighting All For One and beating him down due to his anger. When All For One then catches him off guard, when he then says he tried to take Deku's quirk. He gets distracted, is then blown away, and when he lands he then says, I swear if you actually did it, I will. Calm down. It didn't work. What? I couldn't take his quirk? Isn't that interesting? We then go back to the present, as All Might then thinks this may be a bit selfish, but you're gonna have to get better soon and fast, young Midoriya. Deku then asks how much time has passed, and All Might says it has been 3 days. And with an annoyed look, Deku would then say everyone's gonna be really mad when he gets back because he took so long to get good. I should have been more careful. What about Koda? Is he okay? All Might then says instead that he should just rest right now. He will know everything that happened when he goes back to UA. Deku would listen and for now just tries to go to sleep. But of course, as much as All Might is trying to hide it, a lot of things have changed. All Might beat All For One, of course, but now he was no longer able to be a hero, and the country is now still in an uproar and is scared about their number one having been retired. They had lost their symbol of hope and peace. And now UA dorms have been put into place with students about to enter it, hoping to find their friend there. And they spend about 4 days there, and on the 4th day when they have settled in and when they're in class, Aizawa enters, hearing about everyone talk about how worried they are for Deku, but then they get quiet when he enters and he says, we don't have time for mourning. You have to get stronger and make sure this doesn't happen again. Like I said yesterday, the license exams are coming up. They will be your main focus. Oh, but before that, come in. Everyone then looks to see the door would be slid open, and it shows Deku walking with Ectoplasm, Cementos, and Midnight. Hey guys. Midoriya! They all then jump out of their seats, dogpiling him as they cry, saying they were so worried, and Aizawa is willing to let them have their moment, as he then thought, they deserve it. This is the second time it's happened. Let's see how they act after this. Seriously, man, are you good? Krishna would say. We visited you all the time, but you didn't even twitch. Nothing. Yeah, I still can't do much today because I feel a bit of pain, but I should be good by tomorrow since I heal so fast. They then say that's good, as the students then actually ask the other teachers why they're here, with them then saying they're focusing on special moves today, and this gets them pumped up as they then all head to their to the lockers and get their costumes and change and explain. They're told Cementos what the TDL is before they then head to it, and there he creates a bunch of pillars and platforms so the students can practice, and Ectoplasm makes a bunch of clones to keep an eye on everyone, but also so he can spar with them and help them develop their powers and also give them advice. And as they start, while everyone trains, Deku is meditating, gathering what he now refers to as cursed energy. At this point, the name couldn't be more fitting, he would think. Are you good? Deku would then turn to see Bakugo walk up, and he would then sit up saying, I'm fine. Why? Bakugo then points behind him as Deku would then turn to see what he was referring to, and he sees all his classmates slightly looking at him before then quickly averting their gaze. Keeping how you feel bottled up is something you do a lot, you know that, you annoying bastard? That's how I am. This doesn't mean I hate any of you or anything, but it's how I survive. What would change if I actually told you how I felt? You're so stupid. See you cry for days. Kirishima overtrained himself, and Ida had the same look he had on back then too. Stop hiding everything. Deku was surprised to hear this, but then he asked Bakugo how he reacted, with him then saying he simply got stronger. Alright then. Deku then reaches out his hand, charging his cursed energy, and this actually transforms his hand into that of Mechamaru's, shocking Bakugo as the three orbs of what Deku now refers to as cursed energy then form, and they blast forward, destroying an entire pillar on impact, shocking the students and teachers. I thought he was still healing. Doesn't he usually need his puppets for that? Ectoplasm thought. A clone of the hero then goes up to Deku asking if he was fine, and he nods, saying he was just trying to see if he could use his new move. I call it transfer. It then shows Ectoplasm his now mechanized hand, and Ectoplasm is intrigued. Before you were summoning parts of your puppets to use those blasts, but now you're turning yourself into one? And Deku then nods, saying that if he can stack his physical enhancement on top of this, then he would reach a pretty high level. He really is talented, Ectoplasm would think. He then allows Deku to practice but not go overboard, and he would nod and yell to everyone saying, Guys, let's pass the exams together, okay? Seeing Deku is clearly trying to be positive, they all say of course they will pass without a doubt, and they go back to training. All Might then soon comes in, and he tries to help, and matter of fact, he has a teaching handbook, which is very, very bizarre for him, because All Might usually uses charisma. He doesn't have any teaching skills, but he is trying to actually learn how to teach these kids. But as he is, by accident, Bakugo blasts through a pillar, tumbling down a bunch of rubble at the retired hero. Watch out, he would yell, as Aizawa then helps to move, but Deku already appears above All Might in a flash, to the surprise of everyone, because he was still recovering. And instead of breaking the rubble, he applies his cursed energy to it, and he would then use it and wrap it around his legs, and he uses his cursed energy as a cushion around his legs and wrap it, and then he simply pushes down the rubble elsewhere, before then backflipping and landing down gracefully. Wow, dude, you've been doing ballet or something? Kaminari would ask, as he then runs over with Sato and Kirishima, and he says he simply realized, I don't have to be aggressive with my cursed energy. It can also be used gently, so I used it to cushion and lightly push that rubble so it wouldn't accidentally hit All Might on the way down. Cursed energy? Sato asked. Yeah, I named it. Calling it energy just isn't gonna work anymore. Clearly it's the origin of my quirk, so it needs a solid name. Also, it sounds honestly cool to me. All Might then walks over, thanking Deku, who says no problem, as Bakugo then from above tells All Might to be careful, making him realize he truly is not the same man he used to be. As this happens, in bursts Class 1B as they see Deku, and Tetsu would then say, Dude, are you good? He runs over to Deku, who says he's fine, with everyone then saying they're happy he's okay, but Monoma is stuck in this monologue about beating 1A at the exams. Actually, that won't be happening, as Oa says. We're taking the tests in separate venues. Monoma hearing this then goes into a slump. Can't you let me have anything? Stop overreacting, Vlad King would say, as he said it's our turn to use the space anyway. And yeah, time has come for 1A to leave, and they leave their room to 1B, and while they train, 1A returns to their dorms. As they arrive, the boys then excitedly show Deku around before night then falls, and then we find the girls talking and chilling in the main room, and Mina then rings up Uraraka liking Deku, and this gets her flustered as she would make herself float by accident by touching her own arm, and this is when they all hear a certain sound. The girls then go over by the windows and see Deku spurring Mechamaru, as Momo would then say, Oh, that's genius, I don't know why we didn't think of this before. Man, he's lucky. He can just train with the partner as much as he wants without needing someone like Ectoplasm around, Mina would say. And Uraraka, while floating, would then ask what's going on, and they say that it's Deku, and she deactivates her floating before then landing and running over to see him fighting Mechamaru, and she only falls for him more, with the girls then noticing. But then Momo says, We should use this to our advantage, guys. You mean use Midoriya's puppets as training partners, Suya would ask? They are definitely stronger than Ectoplasm. Yeah, this could be the key to us passing. We can do any scenario we want. Rescues, what to do when you're attacked by a group, everything. The girls then think this is obviously beneficial, and that's what they do. For the next few days they have left, everyone fights Deku's puppets, and now using what they know is called cursed energy, they kind of experiment with how they should handle group attacks and stuff like that, because many blasts going at them it's a pretty good scenario to learn how to evade and stuff like that. And they're very, very formidable now. The puppets are way stronger, and then even like the normal puppets are super strong. So they try a bunch of scenarios until the day of the exams. Arriving at Takoba Stadium, Class 1A steps off their bus, and obviously they feel a bit nervous, but they're dealing with it well, as Aizawa would then say, hey, don't think about it too much, just do. This is a massive opportunity. And Mineta would then say, oh right, we won't let you down. Aizawa then says good, and says they will move on, and this is when they're about to enter, when they're approached by Inasa, who then yells, introducing himself, and he would say, sorry to intrude, I would just like to say, hello. He would then bow, hitting his forehead to the concrete, with everyone wondering what's wrong with this guy, but more importantly, he was now bleeding, and that brought up a lot of concerns. At this point is when normal civilians would be passing by, noticing the young students from UA and now Shiketsu High, and Inasa's classmates then walk over to the UA students and apologize for Inasa's behavior. Aizawa then recognizes this kid and says to be wary of him because he is very strong. Stronger than Midoriya? Kirishima would ask. Aizawa would then say no. Midoriya's quirk is a bad match for his, but regardless, he is dangerous. As he says this, the Shiketsu students then have to leave, but then Miss Jo comes up and starts messing around with Aizawa, asking if he wanted to marry her, that stuff, but he brushes it off and says no. And she brushed this off with a laugh, and then she goes over her students with Shindo and admiration walking up to the class, and he goes for a handshake with Deku first, but Deku would then pull away his hand, saying, don't let him touch you. He's using his quirk. Wait, seriously? Jiro would say, as Shindo with a smile then says, I expected of you. I think it's past Izuku Midoriya. I'm just looking out for my friends, Deku would say, as he puts his hand in his pockets and starts walking away, and Aizawa says they have to go anyway, and says goodbye to Miss Jo for now. So later the students are then all gathered up in a room and have the rules explained to them, and they have targets on them, and they also each have 6 balls to hit the targets. People, they have to get at least 2 people to pass, and there are 3 targets on each person, so you get the 6 balls, 3, and then you pass, and that's how it goes. The building will then open up to reveal what was their fighting ground, and they also see their teachers watching them from the stands. And a countdown will then start, and already everyone splits up, where Deku then leading the same group he was in the original, and as a countdown then hits 0, they are then ambushed by Shindo and his class. To win this, we need you to leave this game. Balls then go flying at all the UA students, but easily everyone defends themselves as Deku then grabs the balls thrown at him and bursts with cursed energy. Makabe, one of the Madam Miss Joke's students, would then say, well, it is UA, it's to be expected, but now we need to get to... Before he can even use his quirk or say another word, he is then knocked out as his friends then turn to see a puppet standing over him, and then it turns before then opening its mouth and releasing a giant beam that the entire class have to then dodge, but they barely do as it destroys part of the landscape. The spectators are in awe of this awesome move as the proctor then thinks, what I've always said, this really is the perfect environment for Izuku Midoriya, and considering how strong he was back then, he must be much stronger now. As the landscape is destroyed, only 2 friends manage to make it out. Meanwhile, Deku then takes out Makabe by hitting all his targets, and Deku would say, sorry, I can't lose here. They then ask, hey guys, is it fine if I go on my own? The others then say that's fine, and Deku nods as he then gets in a running stance, breathing out hard, and he disappears from sight, looking to take out people somewhere else, and this shocks the spectators as Miss Joke, who is with Aizawa, then asks how that's even possible. That aura, did he always have it? It's the main source of his power. He discovered he can enhance himself physically with it. That's also what his blasts are made of. This joke is then reminded of Deku and Todoroki's fight, and as she watches nervously, she's also excited, looking forward to what crazy things he will do. As she says this, however, an announcement is then made saying Izuku Midoriya had already passed with 20 points. Well, 21. Yeah, he already passed with 21 points, having taken down 7 people, only using physical strength. I'm getting more used to it, Deku thought. Yeah. Feels more comfortable. As he says this and starts walking off, Hinasa would have just passed with 120 points, and it is announced, and Deku hears this, so he understands why Aizawa said to be careful of him, but of course, he's not even trying, and has not even used his puppets for fighting, like, hand to hand with people, or like, up close, so he's not really worried. And then he starts heading to the safe zone, and inside the room, he sits down and waits, when Hinasa then soon walks in saying, oh, nice to meet you. Hi, Deku would say, as Hinasa with a smile on his face would then say, don't you want to go out and help out your class? I mean, I don't know if that's even allowed, but also, they don't need me. An announcement is then made and says Todoroki, Bakugo, Kirishima, Aoyama, Momo, Tokoyami, they are all passing already, and Inasa is surprised and honestly kind of shocked. See, Deku would say, I underestimated you a bit. I apologize. He once again slams his head into the ground, making Deku check on him in worry. And a few minutes later, after the tests are passed, all of UA has, of course, passed, and the others have as well from other schools. And then they move on to the next test, which consists of saving people. And as they watch from inside, they see the area that they're supposed to be on be bombarded by bombs and is turned into a disaster site. And actors then step out and they're going to act as rescuees for the students to, well, save. And as the students are shown this, they're honestly surprised because this test is like extreme. They blew up everything just to make a new test site and they don't have to do much work. And Momo would say, well, luckily, we still trained for this. Yeah, let's do our best, Deku would say. Everyone then agrees as Bakugo was then approached by Nagasama, who apologizes for one of his classmates kind of like butting heads with him during the past test. You know who it is. It's the guy who can turn stuff into lumps. And Nagasama would then say, we would rather build a good relationship with UA. Please don't take it personally. However, of course, his words don't match his tone and intentions, but they don't really have time to talk because the test is about to start anyway, and Bakugo just like says to leave him alone. And as Deku is readying himself to summon his puppets, Kami passes by him and she would then tap him on the shoulder. Oh, hi, do you need something? Deku would ask, and Kaminari and Mineta then get jealous at this interaction, with Kami then saying, oh, we get to meet later. Oh yeah, sure, let's both make sure to pass. Kimi then tips her hat to him and leaves, making Uraraka a bit jealous, and also Todoroki asks Inasa why he seems so angry around him specifically, because he was getting along with everyone else but him, and he says he hates both him and his father. Clearly the tension is rising, until finally the prompt then says to begin, and with this, Deku then stretches his arms out and says, let's go. Out of the ground then crawl out 20 puppets that then run ahead far ahead of the other students, and they get nervous because Deku is finally going all out. Momo then makes a marker and draws a circle where she is and says, go out and find some people. I'll stay here and wrap them up with bandages. Whatever, I'm gonna do what I want, Bakugo would say. As he then blasts off, and the other students then go and start saving people. They clear rubble and just take people out and help out. The other classes do the same, set up like stations to save people. And Deku actually stays in the same spot, which is near Momo. And this is when she for one sees how crazy it is for Deku to control so many puppets at once. Midoriya, don't push yourself too much, okay? Deku then says, don't worry, this is easy. First patients are coming, get ready. 5 puppets then arrive with some people who are impressed at how nicely they were treated when being rescued, and they arrive and say that this gives them a lot of good points, which is good. Things are going well, and that is until an explosion occurs as Gang Orca and his henchmen then emerge posing as villains, and this makes Deku get rid of his puppets for now, and he runs out in front of the injured and the people who they were healing, and then he reads the situation before then saying, Ultra Mechamaru, come out. From behind him is then summoned a giant golem that towers over him and the villains, and Gengorka would then say, not bad, kid, but let's see how you stop us. The henchmen then attack, but then blasted away by cursed energy blasts that keep knocking them out one after another as they go for him. But Gengorka dodges the blasts that come at him, only to then be hit from the back as the blast had curved and, of course, hit him. That was weak, Gengorka would say, because he still barely felt it, and then he uses his quirk to shoot out a massive shockwave that shatters the ground, but as he is, something then hits him again and he trips, falling over, unable to move. Shindo then runs over to help, but sees everything was taken care of, seeing that, well, yeah, everything was taken care of, and if you're wondering what the other hit was, it was just another blast. Deku had to hit him with another impact because Gengorka is a really strong hero. I'm not gonna do him dirty like that. He can't just take down Gengorka that easily. At this point, when he's unable to move, Shindo then runs over to help, but sees everything is taken care of, like I said, and he says, oh wow, that thing is really gigantic up close. Gengorka then thinks that attack is an internal one. I can't move. Not bad, kid. Miss Joke is impressed, asking what's going on, and Aizawa then says that attack focuses on less power and just more control. If it hits you once, unless you're really good, you will feel internal damage because it spreads all over. Hits your bones, your muscles, everything. You found a pretty terrifying student, she would say. The other students by this point then come over asking if everything was fine, and the giant Mechamaru puts a thumbs up to them, saying in a robotic voice, they're down for the count. Oh, okay, Mina would say, as Deku then enhances his voice with cursed energy, saying, we can go back to rescuing, the villains have been neutralized. So they do, and quickly get their points until it is over and the scores are shown. And then they were quickly handed papers showing their scores, and Deku has over 100. Not that he's really aware of how big of a deal it is, as he would then ask, what'd you guys get? Momo would then say, I got a 94. How about you, Midoriya? Deku then shows his paper and she gets in a slump saying she'll do better next time, as Deku would then say, Mama, calm down, it's just a test. At least we all passed, right? Actually, Bakugo didn't, Mama would say. Oh shit, Deku would say, as he then turns to see Bakugo, of course mad, but people who have failed will be given another chance. And this means that Inasa will still meet Todoroki, and Todoroki failed. Yeah, they still got him and Inasa still got in a scuffle and all that happened, and yeah, that sucks. Bakugo, Todoroki, Inasa, and Kami, they're all going as in the original. But yeah, Deku gets his provisional license and he's excited about it, and as he looks to his license, he sees Todoroki, who is clearly frustrated by all of this, and he walks up to him saying, "You got this, Midoriya." Right, I'll catch up. We'll catch up. As he says this, everyone then goes back to school later, and Deku goes and trains in the Gamna gymnasium to try to forget about his mom. This time he has his gorilla puppet attack him, and it is very powerful. One strike from it sends Midoriya flying, but he tells it to go all out. Again, he's then attacked, and he appears right in front of it, and then besides it, and then behind it with a kick. That was really stupid. Let me restart that. He then attacks and appears right behind it with a kick, and as he hits it, it barely does anything, but then he concentrates his cursed energy, making it slam into the ground with a double impact of sorts. But then the gorilla would get up and go to grab him, only for Deku to partially transform his right hand and shoot out a blast, but then the gorilla would then counter with its own blast, and as the blasts collide, they are then both pushed back a bit, and a smoke cloud is made. But the gorilla then brushes through it and comes at Deku, pounding his chest. Again. Oh, shut up, will you? Deku then turns to see Bakugo, who enters, and Deku would then ask why he's here, as he makes his puppet stop, and Bakugo would then ask, why are you here? Oh my god, do you know how loud you are? I mean, since when did you care? Also, noises don't reach the dorm from here. What are you getting at? Bakugo doesn't really know how to answer that and scratches his head before then saying, I wanted to apologize. Oh, you mean that thing with All Might? I don't really care anymore. Seriously though, I am sorry. Deku would then say, okay, fine, you're forgiven. I don't really need you to feel guilty about something that happened weeks ago. Seriously, I'm fine. Alright then, Bakugo would say, as he then starts leaving, when Deku then asks if he wants to train with him. We never did have that fight, you know. This piques Bakugo's interest, and he asks if Aizawa told him that he could do whatever he wants, and he nods. So with that being said, Deku gets rid of the gorilla, and then he and Bakugo start walking towards each other, and then they start running, with Bakugo then shooting out explosions to propel himself, while Deku releases with cursed energy, and then they clash. From the monitoring room is Aizawa, who sees this and says, seems safe enough, let's just make sure they don't go overboard. The next day, when everyone is getting ready for school, Mina would then ask Bakugo and Deku, what's wrong with you? You both look like zombies, what happened? Nothing much, Bakugo would say, and then Deku would say, we trained for like so long, until 12. Bad idea, my legs hurt, my shoulders feel like mush, Bakugo would say. I wasn't that invited, Todoroki would say, and then Bakugo would then say, because it's too intense for you, I see, huh? Deku then chops Bakugo on the head, telling Todoroki that he can join in if he wants, and clearly Bakugo and Deku have gotten closer, so everyone is kind of happy about that. For the next few days, everything is pretty standard, but the teachers do give a speech about how things will have to change, and the internships are coming up, and they're a bit, this one is a bit more different because they're actually going to be getting like real like experience saving people like for real, like they will be out in the field. So yeah, and they essentially tell them to be careful and be stronger and hold on and just never let go of their ambition to become heroes. And then when everyone goes back to class, Aizawa then goes more in depth about what the next internships are going to be about, and then he brings in the big three to the surprise of everyone. So they're the top three at UA, Jiro would ask. Kaminari would then say that one of them is cute, of course, referring to Nejire Hado, and Aizawa then says they should start with some introductions, and first up is Amajiki. At first he comes off as an imposing person, but soon shows that he's very shy, and so Nejire introduces him for him, and then she starts to introduce herself, but then she asks a bunch of questions, and then she asks Todoroki questions, and Deku questions, and she's going all bizarre, she won't stop, and clearly their senpais are kind of weirdos, but it makes them less nervous since they seem like normal kids like them. Well, Nejire isn't really normal, she's very, very quirky. I see you've all lost a bit of rationality, Aizawa says, as Miro then says, don't worry Aizawa, I'm still here. So, now that you have acquired your licenses, you seem pretty energetic, why don't you all fight me? Wait, how does that relate? Deku would ask. Miro then says that's simply the only way for him to get his words across to them, and Aizawa says that's pretty fine. So they all go to the Ganma Gymnasium, where the students are still unsure about this whole thing because first off, it's a whole class against him, one person. And Nejire then laughs from the sidelines saying, don't worry, Miro's super strong, you know. Mirio would then say, yeah, just come at me, okay? Holding back's only gonna end badly for you. So, who's up first? Bakugo, excited, is then about to step forward when Deku then does so instead. Sorry, can you let me go first? Don't you dare lose, got it? Deku would then say sure, with him then getting in a fighting stance as he bursts with cursed energy, saying, alright, let's do this. Saying this, he disappears and appears right in front of Mirio with a kick, only for the kick to go through his face as his clothes then fall off of him, and everyone is weirded out as some girls then avert their gazes. Deku, after kicking Mirio, then actually goes through his entire body and then lands down behind him, and Mirio with a surprised face would then think, I barely reacted in time. Seeing his chance, Bakugo then attacks with an AP shot and a bunch of them, but Mirio then falls to the ground avoiding it as he then appears behind the 1A group, who are surprised, attacked by Mirio, who starts to destroy them with ease while Bakugo and Deku watch in amazement. I really saved myself with how badly I fucking said that. Regardless, anyway, Bakugo would then say, I told you not to lose. Yeah, well, he took me off guard, but I'm good now. As Mirio is about to punch Kirishima next in the stomach, Deku then appears catching this punch, and one of his puppets then kick him in the face, sending him flying towards Bakugo, who then meets him with an explosion to his gut, shocking Nejiro and Amajiki, as Amajiki would then say, he's really fast. Out of the explosion, Bakugo then lands and goes over to Deku, and the few remaining students are then surprised when Mirio then actually comes out completely unscathed, and for some reason, he pulls back his arm. Smash! He throws a punch that generates so much wind and just pressure that it blows back everyone a bit and catches them off guard, and when Mirio lands, he uses one for all at 30% and attacks everyone except Deku, who barely keep up with him, and under 30 seconds, Mirio easily takes down everyone. And as they lie on the ground in pain, Mirio then turns to Deku, who increases his output of cursed energy, scaring Mirio. So you're getting more serious now, huh? Aizawa, confused by this, then asks Nejire and Amajiki how Mirio did that, and they say that he got a second latent quirk as of late, and it is incredibly powerful. A second quirk? This late in his youth? This isn't normal, Aizawa thought. Deku in this moment then blitzes and attacks Mirio with a punch, but it passes through his face before Mirio then strikes at him again, but he misses, getting blasted in the stomach and then sent flying into a wall. But he permeates through it, and then he pops back up behind Deku, who swings his elbow, but Mirio would then strike him in the stomach, avoiding that strike while making him wince in pain a bit. But Mirio then notices something. My punch didn't connect. Deku, having protected himself with cursed energy, then strikes him back in the face, and this is when something weird happens, as his cursed energy then flashes back, and sparks of black and red lightning strike Mirio, catching him off guard. He is then blown away, actually cratering through and into the ground, all the way until he crashes into a wall, causing a massive explosion. The students and everyone are shocked as Deku then looks at his arm in confusion. A black flash? What was that thing? Midoriya, what was that? Todoroki would ask as Deku then says, I don't know, it just happened. Hey, are you okay? He then runs to Mirio, and as the dust starts to clear, it reveals him in a pile of rubble, and he says, I'm totally fine. Actually, no, you're bleeding, Deku would say, as Mirio is then bleeding from his mouth at this point. He then wipes it off, saying he can handle it. You got me there. What was that? I have no idea myself, Deku would say. Alright, that's enough, Mirio. Put your clothes back on, as I would say. Yes, sir. So Mirio then gets dressed, and after this everyone then gathers, and Mirio talks about his permeation quirk and his second one, which is obviously a strength quirk. But as you can see, I didn't rely on my strength quirk as much because my permeation is all I needed. We were all kind of caught off guard, right? Mirio would then say, yeah, it's like you were teleporting all over. I literally couldn't touch you. Mirio then, however, explains that how his quirk works is very, really different than what they think, and it's actually very dangerous. And he tells him that he had to make it strong on his own and work really hard, and that's what he wanted to show: adaptivity, parallel thinking, checking your surroundings, being on top of things, like tippy toes. Those are the things that make a good hero, not just pure strength, like he just demonstrated. Wait, does that mean you were holding back? Kirishima would say. Hey Midoriya, you guys would have been put out in under 10 seconds if you was trying, Deku would say. Most of them get nervous hearing this, but Mirio then says, but even with all that, Midoriya kept up with me. Why do you think that is? Momo then says, it's the very nature of his quirk. He's always constantly thinking about everything for his puppets to work in harmony. It must just be a habit he's picked up to, well, adapt. Mirio would then say, exactly, it's a skill he developed. Even when falling behind, he's set up everything ahead, and that is what true heroes do. They cannot always save everyone, but they can try to by being smarter, not just punching through things. We can't all be like, oh my, that was a bad joke. Everyone then agrees as he then says, well, regardless, he does hope they can become good heroes, and they all clap, saying that he talks like a pro. This dude legit is like a pro while being in high school, and they're just impressed. And after this, everyone then goes back to class, and big three then go back to doing their thing. And as they are walking the halls, Amajiki would then ask if Mirio's okay. Honestly, my head almost got blown off. It was that strong, Najiri would ask. And this is when Mirio would then nod, saying that he needed to go see Recovery Girl, and that Deku is amazing. I think Sir might like him. Ow, 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 ow. He then winces in pain, holding his cheek, as Amajiki would then say, stop talking right now, let's get you fixed up first. What will happen at the internships? And what was that black flash? Find out in the upcoming part. It's been your boy, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And this is where the 6th part ends. Welcome to the end of the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this part. Honestly, in my opinion, sorry about that. Honestly, in my opinion, this was probably the best part of it because I introduced the Black Flash. Now, the connotations behind it are not the same thing with cursed energy. Well, there is a bit of it about that. People are going to misinterpret it as something else, and it does have to do with something else, and I'm pretty sure you can guess it. It has to do with All For One. So I'm gonna try to make that a little bit fun, and that's how I'm gonna end off All For One and have a little bit of fun with it, because I'm gonna destroy this man, crush his pride, ruin his life. Actually, his life already sucks. The man can't breathe. Point is, it's gonna be fun, and I hope you guys will enjoy it. If you can hear any background noise or like the sound of sirens, I don't know why there is a bunch of it, but yeah, it's just happening. The next video shall be, what if... Did my stomach just grumble? What if Luffy had Yuno's powers? I hope y'all looking forward to that. It's gonna be fire. It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good. I'm not even joking, bro. I wrote this shit so good. It is so hype, honestly. If I could animate it, it would be so dope if I could, because I made Luffy go insane. Okay. I'm gonna leave now. Stay safe. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video, which might not be on this channel, so look out for the next part of what if Naruto was a true alpha werewolf, if you're interested in that. Peace.